Hi, y'all. My name is Denasia, and I am a 22-year-old Type A Black girl from Las Vegas who just moved to New York City last year to work for L'Oreal as a financial analyst.
Hey y'all, my name is Faith, and I'm a 23-year-old Type A Black girl from AZ living in Denver, working remotely for Cisco as a business analyst.
Season 5 is here, and we cannot wait to share more about our personal lives, working big girl jobs,
Relationships, and life in general as Type A Black girls. Hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of season 6 of Type A Black Girls.
Hi, guys. What's up? So before we jump into today's episode, we wanted to give a couple key reminders. I feel like we're in class and like the teacher would give you like daily reminders. But anyway, um, we have a book club. If you guys haven't listened before, if you're new here, it's called One of Us is Lying. That's our book for this season. Make sure to join our group me. You can find it in the bio of this actual episode and also our Instagram, where you can actually see a book club section of our group me. So you can actually keep up with updates. But we also posted a reading schedule on our book club, on like a book club breakdown on our Instagram. So if you have any questions, feel free to DM us. But we have a free PDF, all the resources you need, girl. We got it. You want it, we have it. So make sure y'all are reading. I know it's hard to stay accountable with a book club. Like I've been known to read it the night before, but I'm really actually trying to like stay on pace. So hopefully y'all are too. And our first meetup is actually August 27th. So we'll probably send out a Zoom link about a week before or pretty soon. So you guys can join and we can talk about it. We'll spend like an hour discussing what we think about part 1 of the book. And also, we want to remind you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're sitting at 132 subscribers and we're trying to get to a 200. So, if you're listening to this and you want to actually see our faces today, and we have a lovely guest, so you need to see her face too. So make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel. And this episode, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, is also available on YouTube. So all the announcements out the way. Okay, let's get into today's episode. We have a lovely guest. Faith, I'll let you introduce her.
Yes, so this is the lovely Jadin Robertson. I met her before freshman year. I got an email from some people and were like, "Oh, do you want to go to a black camp called Sankofa?" Mind you, I ain't never heard this word before. I was like, "I don't know, but I do want to see what the campus looks like." So I go, and it like to this day, everybody from Sankofa, everybody's close. Like no beef, like maybe beef during, but after, like it never, it never gave, like it was never that deep. It was just like we're new. It kind of gave Love Island a little bit, depending on who was coupling up, who was the fine black guy, because there was a few. I'm not gonna hold you. Our Sankofa class was so yes, met Jadin, and the topic of this episode is being a mom in your 20s, and I will say she had Instagram shook a little bit because I'll let you introduce your story, and I will do my little ad libs on how I felt about the whole situation.
Yes. So, hi, everyone. My name is Jadin Roberson. I am from Phoenix. And yes, Faith and I actually met right before freshman year started at a program called Sankofa. Faith has always been super easygoing and like super friendly. So I'm just so happy that we're still friends to this day. Like she said, a lot of the people that we met from Sankofa, we all stayed friends with. So it's just so fun to see each other like on our journeys as we continue to grow. So yeah. But yes, I'm 23 and I'm a baby mom. I'm a baby mom now, y'all. Like, see, I'm a mother, no drama. No, but yes, I am a new mom. I have a 10-month-old. Her name is Miss Riley. Um, but yeah, so I will say for a minute I did kind of go under the radar. Wasn't saying too much. It was honestly right before graduation too, so I was just getting my stuff in order for school, and then that month, that first month of the semester, which was January, I found out I was pregnant. So I was just trying to push through to get school started and then, have this baby. But yeah, I think the way that I announced it was pretty shocking to everyone. After a few months, after I waited, like after my first trimester, I decided to do a gender reveal video where I had my closest friends try to guess the baby's gender. And then at the end, her dad and I bit into a cupcake that showed if it was pink or blue. And yeah, everyone was just shook. So it was just like cat out the bag. So yeah, that's how I made my announcement and had Instagram shook.
Girl, I got on Instagram, and like I know everybody, whoever, like if you have a friend or a mutual that has had a baby in the time that we're babies, that is what I feel like. Everybody's like, "Did you see?" Like da 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 da. And at the time, one of my closest friends, she was also in Sankofa. Was Natasha in Sankofa?
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Honestly, my memory sucks. Yeah. I texted Natasha like, "Did you see who had a baby?" And she's like, "Who?" And I'm like, "Jada had a baby." And she's like, "What?" So then I sent her the video, and like, I feel like this is like a canon event for like mutuals and friends that
Yeah.
aren't close enough to know. I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And then the baby popped out, and I was like, "I love this baby." I was just telling my boyfriend, I was like, the only babies that give me baby fever are one of my Sankofa friends' babies, Riley, and my little sister's sister, who's Maya. Like, those are the only two babies that consistently give me baby fever. So anytime you post her, I'm like, frick, let me keep on taking my birth control, because like you got me. Like, every post, just know I'm like, yeah, I love her. So yeah, love that baby. She is the cutest. I love baby content, and I love like knowing like that they have good moms. So I'm just really happy to have you on here, and like I can just tell you guys have a really fun relationship, especially like you and your Kiana, like or Kiana. Kiara.
Yeah.
Yes. The best friend, like the auntie vibe, like, frick. I love it. So,
So funny thing, me and Kara live in the same apartment complex, and she literally lives in the unit right above me. All we have to do is just walk up the stairs, and I'm at her door. And she just walked in right before we started this podcast, and she's like, "Can I take Riley?" I'm like, "Girl, take her, so she's not in the background." Like, take her. I'm like, "Sure." Like,
take her.
The best fairy god monkey ever. So like.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I made a tweet, and I was like, I can't wait to have a baby, simply because like I can't wait to see how well the aunties are going to love on them, and like that just gives me a reason for all my friends to be in one space. And I only have long distance friends, so I'm like, selfishly, I want all my friends to be there, but I want them to celebrate, the celebration of life. So and Dammy's like, "Hey, like I got a text from my boy, like, you had something to tell me?" And I was like, "No, I was just saying, I'm excited to have a baby."
Not the Twitter ops, like
what? Like, I'm like, who? Like, anyways, let's go ahead and get to Rosebud and Thorn before we get into more of Jadin's wonderful mommy story. I'm about to say moms. Jadin, what is your RBT of the week?
So I had to put a lot of thought into this, because I'm like, okay, what's something good that happened to me this week? I was just stressed this week, okay? But I found some little pieces to be appreciative. So my rose, for those who don't know, I am a dancer. I really focus on hip hop. But it's been a while since I've danced after having the baby, just simply because, I really want to enjoy being a mom, and like I hadn't had the time to go out and, explore my hobbies. So, but I just got booked for one of my first dance gigs since postpartum. Yeah, I'm just super excited. I've been making my way back in the dance scene, and I was just super excited that I was thought about and, asked to be a part of this. So that's my rose. For my bud, okay, so I hate that I'm doing it like this, because it's just like, girl, tell us what it is. But I don't want to give away too many details, but let's just say that I am starting something very major this week. And by the end of next year, I will have accomplished something very big. And I'm just super excited. So I don't want to give away too many details, because it's like, like you want to just like focus on it without people being like, oh, like, how's it going? Like, da-da-da. I'm like, leave me alone. Like, So that's something I'm looking forward to. And my thorn, it might not be a big deal to everybody else, but it's a big deal to me. But I've been waiting on a package for like the past 2 weeks now. And when you're just so excited to get something, I have been waiting on this package for 2 weeks. Like, that's just enough for me. But I just moved into a new apartment, so I forgot that you had to, mommy thing. At my apartment the day of my birthday, so happy birthday to me.
Hey, this sounds like a lot of roses.
Hey, actually, I should have brought that up. That's a good one. But me being irresponsible, I completely forgot to update my address, my mailing address. And then also there's a green slip that's in your mailbox that shows like, oh, this apartment's not vacant anymore. So they had delivered the package, but I got an email saying that they sent it back to the sender because my apartment was marked as vacant. So I'm like, no, not 2 more weeks. I can't do this. Like,
oh my God.
So, yeah, that is my thorn, but it'll come. I updated my address. I got them to ship it back out, no charge. I was like, listen, it's been a hard week, so
take it.
I was gonna say, because most of the time they be charging or rescind it. So the fact that you got out there with free 99 is a win to me.
That part. But thank you so much, moms. That's kind of how we reference each other. Sweets, moms, kind of, But let's go ahead and get into the questions because I'm very excited for this topic. We did an episode last season talking about do we want to be moms in our 20s? And we were talking about like when we want to have kids, like our reservations about having kids, how we were raised, like how we want to raise our kids. So I was like, oh my gosh, when we were thinking about like who to have on for guests, I was like, we need to have a mom on, but we need to have a mom our age, because like I feel like the girlies are having kids, just because we're not having kids at this time doesn't mean the girlies aren't having kids. And it's like, that's real. And we like to have different point of views on this pod. And so I'm just very glad. I'm just really, really glad you're on. So let me go ahead and get into the first question. So Jadin, did you always want kids?
Yes, I have 100% always wanted kids. So I come from a very big family. I have 9 siblings in total. Yeah, so I'm literally living cheaper by the dozen. And on top of that, I have a million nieces and nephews. So I've always been surrounded by children, and just the idea of like having my own family has always been something special to me. So yes, 100%, I've always wanted kids.
Oh,
That
that's
sounds amazing. Cheaper by the Dozen was my favorite movie as a kid.
Real good movie, like
Cheaper by the Dozen 2 specifically, the one with Hilary Duff. Okay, I love that one. And I feel like having a big family, like I feel like it makes holidays more exciting. It just makes like the family experience feel like it's like, oh wow, like this is a trailer van full of kids, and it feels like we're all one unit, you know?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I also come from, girl, I got 4, 5. I have 7 siblings. It's I always forget it because I had a sister that passed away. So I'm like, sometimes I count her, sometimes I don't. But yeah, I basically have 7 siblings, but it's weird because I'm basically an only child because it's nothing what is it? Not same mom, not same dad.
Right.
So yeah. So like, is that similar to how yours
Yeah,
is?
so my 2 younger brothers, we have the same mom and dad. I have 4 adopted siblings, and then I have 3 brothers that have different dads. But like you just don't count that. It's just like
No.
that's fine.
I never saw my siblings as half siblings. I didn't even know that was a thing
until someone told me like, oh, so like that's your half brother. I'm like, what's a half brother? Me addressing my mom, what's a half brother? It's not my real brother. Like what is this?
No, this is real. Like I grew like the bond. I don't like the bond that Hope and Joy have. Like growing up in the same household, like you can't change that. Like, not that I'm glad that we don't have the same dad, but like we all have very individual personalities, and it's like, okay, one clash, two. Let me go to the other one to be friends with them for a few minutes. I really did enjoy that dynamic, learning who my siblings are now as adults because they're like long lost because I didn't really grow up with them. Has been definitely a time. But like in your adulthood, you kind of figure out like who you want to actually engage with, and those a lot of the people in that group are my siblings.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that's funny that you say that because we have like similar situations. I did forget to mention I have 3 sisters by my dad who I just recently like connected with, but we're super close now. It's just like, wow, like I just love that bond of like just having such a big family and like being able to get together. Like we haven't been apart for so long, so.
No. Yeah.
Plus, it's like as you get older, I feel like you actually see your siblings as people. Because for the longest, I'm like, I didn't even like my sister, for example. Like she started college and started making her own friends and doing her own thing, and I was like, I be forgetting you have a whole life. You're not just a side character in mine. Like you're your own main character. So it's really crazy to see your siblings grow up too and be like, wow, like you're your own person. Because for the longest, it's just like, oh, there you go, Kayla. Like you're beefing with your siblings as you grow up, or like there's differences and stuff. But like realizing like they have their own lives separate to you is an insane realization. Because I'm like, wow.
Right.
It's hard to figure out because I'm like, Hope, like she has her own salon that she goes to every single day. Like her life is so much different. And then Joy, like she's getting paid to run track. Like I didn't get paid to go to school. Like that's so, and like she has to be in the gym. She has to be on that track. Like that wasn't my college experience. And she's telling me, and I'm like, oh, like, so you have friends? Because for the longest she did. For the longest. And I was like,
not you outing her.
I mean, to this day, I'm like, I'm so glad you have a personality because for the longest, it was Netflix and track. Like, she would just be in the back of the car, just watch her Vampire Diaries. Like, just.
Hey, My treacherous little twin. Because me too, girls. Vampire Diaries, Teen Wolf, and Pretty Little Liars got me through some tough times. Like,
Pretty Little Liars.
Pretty Little Liars.
Little
Like,
Liars,
yeah,
yeah.
me and Spencer, we one and the same. So I was like, yeah.
I got tired every Tuesday for ABC Family. I was like, who is A? I got tired.
Why are there 10 different A's? It just made me mad. Like,
No. The best reveal was when Ezra was A. I don't know if y'all remember that specific season.
That
That
reveal?
to this day, I remember like running around the house, like yelling, talk. My mom, like, girl, like, go. She probably just got off a long work shift, and I'm like yelling about A. But that season, if you know, you know. When Ezra was A and when Mona was revealed as A, those were the top A reviews.
the top one.
Yeah.
Those were the 8.
Because when they started introducing the dollhouse stuff, I was like, now things are getting a little weird. I don't know. I didn't like all that. But Ezra, yeah, that was the one.
8. They did their thing with that.
They did. That's when they started being freeform.
But that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, so I feel like I've always seen videos on TikTok or even YouTube where like you just have people like reacting to when they first saw their positive test and they're like, oh my God. And it's like a lot of feelings and emotions. So can you just like walk us through how you felt when you saw that positive test?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like my only emotion that I can really remember was just complete and total shock. Like, I just sat there with my jaw to the floor. So I actually didn't find out I was pregnant through a pregnancy test, though. I had decided to go to urgent care because I was just feeling a little under the weather, and like I could just tell that something was off. And like usually I'm just like, I'll just go to urgent care to see if like maybe I'm getting a cold. And on top of that, I was like scheduled to get my routine like STD and STI check. So that's why they had to check for pregnancy, just in case I had one. Like they have to put me on the correct medicine. So yeah, I went to urgent care just thinking like, oh, I'm just probably getting a little sick. Let me just get tested and everything like that, you know, whatever. And like my period was actually supposed to come that week. So my initial thought wasn't like I was pregnant or anything. It was just like, oh, I'm just getting sick, you know? But yeah, so the nurse like, you know, did my urine sample and everything like that, went into the other room. I can hear her laughing and cackling with the patient next to me. So I'm like, oh, we're chilling. Like I'm about to go home. They're just gonna be like, I'm sick or something, you know? She walks in the room and she's like, so you're pregnant. And I'm just like,
no warning, no.
Oh, and what was funny was that day I was wearing a hat, and I remember lifting up my hat as if that was going to change what she just said. Like, I was just like, let me check my hearing first. I was like, what did you say? And she was like, yeah, you're pregnant. I just ran the test twice. It came back positive very quickly. She was like, I would say that you're probably like 4 to 6 weeks maybe. And I just remember like I didn't speak. I feel like everything just went silent, and my jaw was on the floor for like 10 minutes, like literally 10 minutes. I did shed like a quick tear, like not because I was sad. I was just like wow, like I'm pregnant.
Shocked.
What? Literally. And honestly, I will say I was in denial because after leaving urgent care, I went to Walgreens and picked up some more pregnancy tests because like there's no way. There's no way. Why did as soon as I peed on that stick, closed the cap, pregnant. Didn't even wait any minutes, nothing. And I was like, no, this is not it. This is not right. This can't be. So I think my initial reaction was just that I was really shocked. I was in denial for a couple seconds, but I was just like, wow, like this is crazy. Like it's such a life-changing event. So it's just like when it hits you like that, it's just like, oh my gosh, like what?
Yeah, especially when you didn't suspect it. I feel like that's the part. Like, you weren't at Walgreens buying a test first. Like you went in thinking you had a cold, and it's like, surprise, baby.
Yeah, literally. I was just like, you know, I've been exhausted. Like I can just feel like my immune system was really low. I wasn't like nauseous or anything like that. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'm not pregnant. Like, and like I said, my period was supposed to come that week. So I was like, I wasn't really stressing about it. So it really just hit me, like, just hit me.
Oh my gosh. And well, this isn't a question on the list, but who was when you got that confirmation or whatever, like, were you on FaceTime with somebody? Like, who was the first person you told?
Okay, so the first person I told was her dad. Like, I had texted him, like, hey, I'm going to urgent care. So he knew I was at urgent care, but I was like, call me right now. It's an emergency, ASAP. Because, like, he can't have his phone because he's at work, and, like, he doesn't usually check his phone. But just suddenly he just decided to check his phone. So he called me, and I'm just like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying? I'm like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, okay, Jadin, calm down. He was like, I'm about to leave work. I'm about to come right now. His was kind of boring, but when I called my best friend, you know, Kiara was the first person I called. I was like, Kiara, she's at work. So she's like, Jadin, what are you calling me for? I'm at work. She works at his preschool, so she can't really be on the phone. You know, she has to be watching the kids. Oh, yeah. Let me not get her in trouble. She didn't answer the phone.
Nah, she didn't answer. She didn't answer.
I called her and I was like, Kiara, like, I'm pregnant. Like, I'm crying. And she's like, Jadin, I'm at work right now. It's not time for jokes. Like, she was just getting mad. She's like, you better not be playing with me. Cause like, she's like, you know how you tell your best friend, like, I'm pregnant, like, just be funny. I was like, Kiara, like, I'm not playing. She's like, I'm not kidding, Jadin. I'm like, bro, I'm literally pregnant. Like, I'm not playing. And she's just like, oh, and she's like, Jadin, what? Are you kidding me? She's like, send me a pregnancy test right now. And like, yeah, her reaction was really funny because she was really trying to fight me. Like, girl, I'm at work right now. Why are you trying to play on my phone? And I'm like,
Gotta
I'm
fight a
not.
pregnant woman.
Yeah, literally, like. So yeah, her reaction was really funny.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh.
gosh.
Wait,
That
so
that gave me
how long
chills.
did you wait to like tell your mom or your parents? I feel like that's the part that scares me the most. Is like,
Yes.
how am I
Right.
gonna tell my mom I've been having sex? You know, like damn.
No, so my mom, we talked about it because we were like, okay, like when do we want to tell our parents? I wasn't scared to tell my mom because at the end of the day, like my mom and I had that relationship where it's like no matter what I tell her, she's gonna always, be there for me, accept me, support me, whatever decision I choose to make, period point blank. So I wasn't scared. I just was still trying to accept the fact that I was pregnant. I was like, wait, like should I was like, once I tell my mom, like it's for real, like it's not a joke. Like when you tell like once I tell my mom on you, like it's over, like done with.
Yeah.
So like once I tell
Yep.
my mom this, like I'm for real about this. Like I'm literally having a baby. But I actually was so emotional that day. I was just like, I need my mom. Like, I need to talk to her like right now. So I actually called her up and I was like, hey, I'm gonna come over right now. And she's like, oh, I'm taking your brother to practice. I was like, can you guys wait for me? Like, I want to come with you. She's over here like, Jadin, like we can't wait. I'm like, can you guys wait? It's important. I have to talk to you. So we dropped my brother off at practice and surprise. So she's waiting 40 minutes. She's like, what do you have to talk to me about? And like, I was just like, Mom, like I don't know how I'm gonna tell you this, or I don't know how you're gonna take it. But I was just like, I'm pregnant. And she was like, oh, that's it? And I was like, yeah, like you're just chill. It's like, and she was like, girl, I don't know what you were trying to tell me, but she was like, okay, like it's okay, like you have a great support system. Like I said, I already knew my mom's gonna be supportive, so telling her was just cool and everything. I don't know why I was so scared to tell his parents, but his mom was literally crying tears of joy, like talking about, I'm so happy it's you. Da, 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 da. I'm like, girl, oh my gosh. So telling like parents and family, like it was actually really fun. Like I didn't have any negative reaction. My siblings were like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, cause it's just like our sister, like she's having a baby, like what? So I had great, reactions from my friends and family.
Oh, that's so good.
That's good. That's good. I love that. Like your mom being like, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
she was stressed. She's like, girl, what are you not talking to me the whole car ride, whole 40 minutes? Because we were in Phoenix, so we had to drive 40 minutes to surprise. She's like, why can't you just tell me right now? I was like, Mom, like, just wait till they show me out the car. My youngest brother, because I was like, I don't want them to know. Actually, when I told my two youngest brothers who I'm closest to, they're like, bro, like, you're lying. Because I played the pregnancy prank on them all the time. And they're like, I don't believe it until I see it. And I'm like, okay.
Here you
I'll,
go.
Yeah.
I'll put it on a stick right in front of you.
They didn't even believe it then because they're like, it's fake. Like, it's fake, Jadin. You've done this too many times. I'm like the girl who cried wolf, for real. So I'm like, all right, just wait
Yeah.
for me to bump. Like,
Yeah.
Told y'all. Oh my gosh. Well, getting more into like how after the baby was born, like how did having Riley change your perspective on life as a whole?
So one thing that her dad has always said that I've really just kept with me is just that having a kid is just another opportunity to feel like a kid again, and that's just so true because you get to look at life within like a perspective like of a child, and it makes you really appreciate the little things so much more. I think it's so beautiful, like when my daughter just is so intrigued by like the snap of a finger, or when she pulls her hair and it's like super long and like it's like coily and so it's like bouncing and stuff like that, and it's just so cute. It just makes you really appreciate the little things in life that you don't really take 2 seconds to think about.
Oh,
Mm.
crap.
Wow. I feel
Wow.
like also having a kid might be an opportunity to kind of like give your kid the childhood you wish you wanted also. Like,
100%.
like you now have like almost like a do-over, not necessarily, but like through them, you have a chance to kind of give them whatever you wanted, or if something like happened in your childhood that you don't want to happen to them, like you come in with that knowledge of it too.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love Riley, so I just love hearing about her. So hey, I'm really just enjoying
You
this
know, I'm
episode.
so blessed. When I say that Riley has just been the easiest and like most bubbliest baby, she like it's just crazy. Like she has been such a great baby. Like she has made this experience for me super easy, super fun, and I just got lucky.
Yeah. I mean, they say like a peaceful pregnancy equals a peaceful baby, though. Sometimes,
I'm
like,
not
like
gonna
if
lie, I
you
was stressed. I'm not gonna lie.
really, what was the hardest part for you, like having a baby, even postpartum too? Because postpartum scares me more than having the baby. I'm not gonna lie. Like, what was that like?
I feel like pregnancy, the hardest part was just controlling my emotions because I'm already emotional as it is. So, like, if I was angry, you're gonna know. You're gonna know, sweetheart. I don't know what it was, but your hormones are just like on 1100. So I feel like controlling my emotions because like I would get super emotional, I'd get super angry really fast or super annoyed. And then on top of that, I was pregnant in the summer too. So you know how this Arizona heat is.
Oh,
It was just too much. When you have that belly and everything like that, you don't want to go anywhere. It's too hot to do anything. I had to go to my midwife appointments. I'm just like, whatever, stressed. So I think that was like the hardest part for me was just like dealing with my emotions and like dealing with the summer heat. Um, so yeah.
wow. Yeah, I just imagine 150-degree weather with a belly, and I really felt for you in that moment because I know he was fighting for your life.
Yeah, I'm fighting for my life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I know we talked about the hardest part, but what's been the best part about having a kid in your early 20s?
Um, I feel like the best part is just having the energy to keep up with the little girl. Like she is so active, and I just can't even imagine being older than what I am, trying to chase after her or trying to prevent her from picking up any little crumb and putting it in her mouth. But also just having the energy to, just like do activities with her like outside of the house. Like I said, it is hot outside, so you have to have like a lot of patience and like trying to get her in the car and everything like that, get her to calm down. But just having the energy to do everything with her.
Oh, yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. My mom was big on like she was big on cheap things for because for people like you're not paying for that. So we would go to Cabela's and I had the time of my life. No less spent. We were playing the games without any money. We were looking at the little dead animal museums. We were just walking around. I'm talking about hours in
Yeah.
Cabela's. Like it's crazy. Like and those are like core memories that me and my sisters have together. Like we were having a grand time, but like in Arizona specifically, you have to find indoor activities for children. Like
Right.
the library, granted, we have ruined a few library books and probably every single library in Phoenix because we moved all the time. But like library visits and Cabela's were like a core part of my memory a core part of my childhood memory
Yeah.
that I really loved spending time with my mom and my siblings.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Girl, for me, it was Bass Pro Shop. We loved us some Bass Pro Shop. My dad, he don't even fish. Like, I really don't know why we was in there, but like, we between that and like literally just going to the beach because for a couple years we lived in Hawaii. So like my mom would literally just take us to the beach and let us run around, and we would burn all our energy, and she'd be so happy because we'd go right to sleep at home. So like between the beach and Bass Pro Shop, I don't know what it was at Bass Pro Shop, but like we would just look at the fish food. We'd be like, get that one. We don't even fish. So I'm like, we looking at the what's the things you throw in the water?
bait.
Yeah, the bait. We'd be like, oh yeah, get the worms, get the worms. I don't think my dad even ever bought the worms, but like I think you can just really realize that kids are so easily fascinated. I feel like it's easy to keep them occupied as long as you find like their niche. Like if you know they like that, it's like okay, I'm gonna stick with that. You're gonna do that every weekend now.
Every weekend. It don't cost no money.
I
And
don't.
it's starting to get a little bit more fun now that she's older because we can take her to do different activities. Because I mean, I will say, like, like from newborn to like maybe like 8 months, like you can't really do much with them except for like, find like little toys that can help with their development and everything. But like, we've been planning to like go to the zoo with her and stuff, like just for her to like look at the different animals that she's never seen. But like as she gets older, like doing more outside activities and like, finding things that she can get active with.
Oh.
That sounds
Oh.
that sounds like fun for me. Yeah, like I want to go to the zoo.
Like I said, like, just having a kid just makes you feel like a kid again. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
like
mean, we are trying to heal our inner child in our 20s.
right.
So I feel like it's like
yeah.
a double whammy. Like you're healing your inner child and you're trying to make sure your child has the best childhood in life that you
Yeah.
can provide for her.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, love.
Like for you, like I mean, out of all your friends, I don't know if any of them also have a child, but how do you feel like your friendships have changed now that you're like the friend with the kid? Like all your friends happy to be aunties? Like how is that working out?
So I'm just speaking from my personal experience because I know it's not the same for everybody, but a lot of my friendships have actually gotten a lot stronger since I've had Riley. Honestly, when I say that God has really just placed the like most perfect people in my life, I don't say that lightly at all. My friends are always like checking in with me. making sure that I feel included, whether that be like just inviting me places and they're like, bring the baby, like bring the baby. And when I do bring the baby, they're like, girl, go in the pool, like go chill out and like go watch the baby. Like they've always been super involved. Like once I announced that I was pregnant, everyone that said that they were going to be involved have been involved. So it just makes me emotional sometimes. But like I really have the greatest friends. Like they have been super involved, love being Riley's aunts and uncles, always checking in. So I feel like our friendships have gotten a lot stronger.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
that's
that. Because
good.
that's not everybody's story.
It's not, because I mean, I definitely like have heard of stories of people like being like feeling like their friends have shunned them after having a baby because it's like, okay, we can't do anything with you. But like I said, Kiara, she was just like, can I come take Riley? Girl, take her, please. Like she's like, she loves being an auntie. She's like, can I just take her for a little bit? Like she'll ask to babysit, and I'm like, sure, like go ahead.
I'll take it. I will
Yeah.
take free babysitting anytime. Because
Right.
babysitters are expensive. I know, because I was one.
Yeah.
Like a few hours.
Yeah.
Like, dang, this is like
It's a little tiring.
yeah.
Like,
Oh
Plus,
my
I
God.
feel like if honestly, realistically, if like your friends are like let's say you have a baby and then they shun you or they're like, oh, what are we gonna do now? They weren't really true friends. Because if the only thing we can do is like just go out and
yeah,
drink and I'm pregnant, I can't drink, and
yeah,
all of a sudden you're not hanging out with me, it's like that wasn't really a true friendship because we should be
yeah.
able to do other things outside of that and still have fun, you know?
Right. I know.
Include
I remember being pregnant on my birthday, and like last year I did like a birthday on a budget, and like we went to Chili's, and I was like, I just want to watch my friends get drunk off margaritas. I'm gonna just sit there and just watch y'all. But like when I say like I felt so included, like they did not leave me out once. Like they're like, girl, take this mocktail. Like I'm like, okay, like so they were super supportive, and like I said, they never made me feel like I was like ostracized for having a kid.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
love
good.
that.
That's
Right.
good. You have a community. You have a
Listen, I
what do
have
they
the best
say?
village there is.
A
Whatever you're
village.
thinking, think more, because we have the best village. We have such a support system. Like it's just like I said, we're just blessed.
Yeah.
Oh, love. I'm
Man,
so glad. Like I'm
manifesting that for real for
because
when all of us have kids because like realistically I've been thinking like okay if I ever have a child I want to make sure I'm near family and friends at
Yeah,
least in some capacity because I feel like raising a kid or just having a family in general without your people around sounds like hell like you're
yeah,
just kind of isolated, you know?
yeah.
yeah,
And I think one thing that got me is like I had a couple friends that were at it, like they just moved out of state after school ended, and they literally flew back just to come see me and Ryan. I'm like, wow, like that just it just goes to show like how much like they value our friendship and like value like being a part of her life. So like I said, it gets me emotional. So don't get me started. But
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I'm so excited that we're having you on. What's a piece of advice you'd give to a young new mom?
okay, so this is something that I took away from my mom. So first and foremost, there's no such thing as being a perfect mom. Like you're gonna have your mistakes, you're gonna have your mess ups. But the thing that I took from my mom is that you become a great mom the day that you find out you're pregnant and you start that planning process. So your first thing is like, okay, I have to call an OB, find a midwife, schedule appointments to see the baby is developing correctly. I have to change my diet, change my habits, what foods are going to benefit the baby and to benefit their development. So as soon as you put that first thought into your head about, okay, how can I ensure this child is healthy and happy the day that they're born, you're just already a great mom. So don't strive to be this perfect mom because like you're not gonna get that. You're gonna stress yourself out even more. So
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Did
I
you
feel like
feel like you were very maternal before you had a child, or do you feel like that instinct like kicked in once you had Riley? Because I feel like some people are already like natural born mothers, if you can say that, versus some people are like, oh, like I feel like I felt it when I actually had my kid.
yeah, so like going back to like me telling you guys that I had a lot of siblings, like I already knew that I had that maternal instinct, but I do 100% agree that like it really does kick in when you're a mom. Like you just know certain things. You know why your baby's crying, you know why they're upset, or like you know what they need in that moment. So it definitely does kick in, like 100%. But like I said, I did already have that motherly like love because I had so many siblings already, nieces and nephews that I just kind of like grew up with. So, but yeah, 100%, it's gonna kick in. Like, don't worry about it now, because literally the day that they're born, like it's gonna kick in. You're gonna want to hold them. They're gonna know that you're their mom. You're just gonna. It's natural.
It's easy.
oh,
That's really reassuring. Because sometimes I'm like, I feel like I'm not as maternal as I should be, and I'm like, does this mean it's just gonna come later, or like, what
It
am I
definitely
waiting for?
can. Yeah. It definitely will come.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't, it just takes time because, it's hard. Like I said, you're going through a lot of emotions, your hormones are changing all the time. So it's okay, like, that you don't feel it right away, but I promise you, you're going to get it. Like, it's going to kick in.
Oh, yay. Yeah, I'm definitely excited. What are some things that you've learned that you didn't know before having a kid that's been a tremendous help?
Um, I say reaching out to moms in the family, um, your community, your local community, and utilizing all the resources that they have to offer. Um, I feel like I received like the best advice from moms that I had around me and like that were in my circle, and they always like provided me with like with great information and resources, like, oh, like you can go here for this certain thing, you can go there to get like certain things, or you can like call these people to help you provide with like food and stuff like that. um so that's one thing. Another thing that I wanted to mention that kind of goes with like the piece of advice is just it's especially for like my believers, but like one thing that my mom has told me is like God is going to equip you with all of the resources that you need, um, especially if you're making an effort to dedicate that child back to God and have the intentions to train them and knowing who He is. Like you're gonna be okay. Like you're gonna be okay. And I feel like that has always been like so reassuring to me, and it's always been so helpful because I'm like, at the end of the day, like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm making sure that she has the knowledge of who He is. Growing up, even going now, like growing her now, like reading her biblical stories and books and stuff like that. Just having that intention, like I just feel like I've already been provided with such great resources because of that. So
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I
I
love
love
like
that.
the Bible stories, like growing up, like absolutely. Like
I know
those were
Veggie
golden.
Tales. Like,
Oh my gosh, Bible Man? Did you ever watch Bible Man?
no, my brother. Oh my gosh, he had the book, like the actual like
No.
storybook.
Gotcha.
Girl, we had the Bible for kids. Them stories used to scare me a bit. I'd be like, what you mean the ark? Like I used to be stressed out as a kid. And now I'm like, I'm so glad my mom like started us off like with little like, tidbits. And then we got into like the real deep, like what God, like what it means and like what it means to be a believer and what it means to like have Christ in your life. Because as a kid, like wrapping your head around that, I feel like as long as you do it in micro doses first and they've like already been exposed to it, it makes it easier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Being an extremist, you just go to the greatest of the greats. Like, oh my gosh, like how did he build his ark? Like he
Yeah.
was in the water, like he got the 2 cockroaches, like the
Right.
Yeah,
I'm like,
the best like Bible teachers because they would like make the stories just sound so crazy. Like, what he did? What he was walking on water? What? Don't play with me! Like, literally,
pardon what? See?
they were so animated with the stories where it got you intrigued. So it's like you remember those little things, So I really enjoyed that as a kid, and it's like my grandma instilled that into me. So like that's something that I took from her that I want to instill into Riley. Building that love for God and like building that interest in who he is and like what he did. Like so.
Yeah,
love.
I
Oh,
agree.
that's absolutely amazing. We're
Growing up
gonna
in a God-fearing family.
Right.
uh, okay, a
But
need.
moms, we have it's crazy I just called you moms because we have advice from our own moms that we wanted to
Yeah.
include in this. So Faith, if you want to go first, like what does your mom think about having kids in her early 20s? What advice would she have wanted? And like what did she kind of learn as she grew up with you guys too?
Yeah, so my mom had me at 21. I it was so crazy because I was like, "Mom, like how did you tell Grampy, that's my grandpa. How do you tell Grampy like that you had a kid?" And she was like, "I wrote him a letter and put it in his room." And I just waited and mind you, I'm a pastor's kid and a pastor's grandkid. So like
Me too.
this is
Oh my
yeah,
God, we're
I
twins.
never, I never knew that. We
Yeah,
got a lot of siblings and a lot of
yeah,
church
we have a
history.
lot in common.
A
Like,
lot. That's probably why we kind of work. Because
yeah.
I mean, anytime it was like, but yeah, she said he got it. He went in her room and he was like, he told her the story of David and Goliath, and he was
Mm.
like, "This is gonna be a battle, and you're gonna have to, like win it." And she was like, "I don't want to go to church," and he's like, "You're gonna be on the front row because like you did it, so you're gonna sit there." And I was like, that is so intense. Like with all the emotions of being pregnant, saying you have to sit on the first row at church. Because like that, like having a child, I was born out of wedlock. Hope and Serenity were the only children born in wed. Born while their parents were
together.
Wedded.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Married. Wedded is crazy. Very 1800s. But yeah, and so like knowing that like my mom during her pregnancy, like she wasn't celebrated. Like it wasn't like a happy. Like when I was born, yeah, celebration, but like me and Joy, like it was just like a she pregnant again. Like that's kind of how it is. So like she didn't have that type of tribe. Like
Right.
my grandma just she got in her car and was like, "All right, guess you need new clothes." Like she didn't have that type of relationship that you had with your mom. That's why when I heard that I was like, "Oh, that's so." And I kind of have that relationship with my mom that like if I came to her, she'd be like, "Okay, I'm about to have some grandchildren." Like she just excited to be called her name that she told me that she wants to be called. I forgot it, but I'm like, "Mom, I'm not 28 yet. Like I don't really know what you're talking about." But yeah, so my mom had four different children by four different men, and because of different obviously reasons, and she's coming from the kind of the mindset of co-parenting with the man you may not like,
Right.
then with the man that's may have done not may that has done you wrong, but you have to put your pride aside, and I'll get into that a little bit later, for the sake of the child. So some of and I asked her this, I said, "Mom, what are some tips that you wish you knew in your 20s, having a few kids in your 20s?" She had three kids in her 20s, all under 25. She said it's okay to make mistakes because you're going to make them, but having older women to call, like you said, Jaden, the moms in your family, is important, and not being afraid to ask them questions is also important. Number two, putting your pride aside for the sake of the kid. Like at the end of the day, a daughter needs their father. Like they might not be the best to you, but a daughter needs their father. Like that's just really what it is. Three, put your put your feelings aside for that person when co-parenting for the betterment of the kid. I kind of like talked about this, but like my mom had a lot of patience. Like I feel like you develop a lot of patience when co-parenting. And I've seen it time and time again with like just all of the I don't even know, I can't even call them stepdads, because one was stepdad, another one is just like that's my dad, my
Yeah.
god dad. I don't know. I guess my god dads. And I've seen them put her through some things, and I'm sure it wasn't one sided, obviously,
Right.
but like she's been the patience you develop as a mom is what I've seen. Is just like you are strong, because I just know you want to punch him in the head. Like he's just trifling, and the amount of times I heard trifling growing up, that just became a vocab word that my mom said very often. I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay, I guess they trifling. This is comes from my mom in her words, and she said like the topic of child support. Like she was like, I didn't want to put the dads on child support because I didn't want them to think I was using it on my nails and hair. Meanwhile, she's working one job, three kids. They're at her house majority of the time. Like the dads, so in her words, put that man on child support no matter how much they whine, because it ended because she didn't ask them for child support, it made us suffer, because like we could only get two or three outfits for school. Like it was because it was all depending on her paycheck, and she felt like, oh, I need to be independent, I don't need to be dependent on a man. In her words, take that man to court. I think four or five, get on everything you can, including like Wix, which is like for you to be healthy while you're pregnant in the first and in the first few years of the child's life, which is like eggs, milk, cheese, cereal, rice, beans, lentils. They give you coupons. Like we were on Wix for a while, especially during her pregnancy with Serenity. And then take advantage of every program. Every dollar helps, because having kids is extremely expensive, even if it's only one. So, and there's a lot of programs out there for moms. So those are a few key words of advice that I asked her on Friday, for all of my moms out there.
Yeah, those are beautiful. Especially like the WIC one. I'm on WIC and they do give great benefits. Like even after I will say when I was with like when I was pregnant with her, like I feel like I didn't get enough benefits. But after like when you're because once I stopped breastfeeding, we decided to move over to formula. And formula is a buck, okay? It costs a lot of money. So and especially having to spend it like maybe every 2-3 weeks because your baby eats so much, like having that option to have, like government assistance or just help to like pay for that, like it's just great. So definitely get on those programs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Plus, there was a formula shortage recently too, right? So like that on top of it, like having to buy it, but plus not even know if you can actually get it. That's
Right.
stressful.
Stressful.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and get into some of my mom's advice. So for context, Mama Thompson, she has 3 kids. I'm the oldest, and I have a sister. Her name's Akayla. She's 4 years younger than me, and my brother's 6 years younger than me. So my little brother also has autism. So this is also coming from her perspective of having a child with special needs and like raising him, and like, you know, he's like what's the word, they kind of describe people with autism that are kind of like moderately functioning, like high functioning, or moderate or low functioning. I would say he's like low to moderate, as far as like how he was as a kid and how he is right now. Like he's homeschooled, so like that also added another layer of stress to her. And my dad also being in the military, there were definitely periods where like she's raising all 3 kids by herself while he's deployed overseas for 6 months to a year, however long it would be. So she said that like realistically, she's talking about like if she was going to talk to herself back in her early 20s, and she actually had me at 27, I want to say, or 26. So she was kind of like mid to late 20s. She would say like realistically, if you can, like try to make sure you're present and always make sure that you're showing up and being in the moment for your kid. And she said that realistically for her, like she's a nurse, so she would have waited a little bit till she was further in her career, because every time that we would move or like my dad would get restationed somewhere, she'd have to be able to like pick up her job and go somewhere else. And luckily, like she was a nurse, so like you need nurses everywhere, but like for some people in different career fields, you might not be able to pick up your job and go to a new place and start over, essentially. So she says like, especially for my brother, like always being present and showing up and being in the moment. She would make sure that like if she could make it, she'd be there. Like dance recitals, child. I was in ballet. I was in a ballet, tap, and gymnastics course all rolled up into one. I don't know why they offered that, but they basically had all the bases covered. And like she would always make sure that she was showing up to dance recitals or gymnastics. Or for my little sister, like she did gymnastics too. Like anything that we had school related, she'd make sure that she was always there, because she was like, the last thing I want to do is have you look out in the crowd and you don't see someone from home there, and other kids are seeing their parents there and they're waving there, getting flowers, or you know, like a little like gold star at the end of the recital, and you don't see us there. So she was always like intentional about doing that. And she was also saying that she's really intentional about like always advocating for your child no matter what. Like if we had a problem, she would be our number one supporter, especially with teachers. Man, like half them teachers, I was like, they really didn't deserve that wrath. But if a teacher was like, if a teacher was doing us wrong, or like something was going bad in the classroom, which, I mean, we were good kids, but like realistically, like being a Black child in a almost all white classroom, usually there were issues. So like she would always make sure she showed up and was an advocate for us, even if no one else was in the classroom too, which I really like. Looking back, I took for granted, because I was like, my mom gonna get you. But it's like, yeah, like she really was there for us and like made sure that she was like holding down the fort. And similar to what Jadin said, like she let me know that there's no one way to do everything. Like you're going to hear a million different moms give their perspective on what worked for them. And, you know, I did this during my pregnancy, or I did this raising my kids. But realistically, there is no like gold standard. Like do what's best for your kid. And she says that it's okay to change your parenting style based from how you were raised. Like for her, she grew up in a very religious household, and my grandma is a very religious woman. And there's just some things that change with time. And it's like you can have your standards on, especially growing up in like a household that like puts God as the center. There's certain things that change with time, and your perspective can change too. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad parent, or if it differs from what your grandparents believe, that doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. It just means this is my child and this is how I'm raising them. And something that she didn't say also, but I think that she was kind of implying, was that like, you know, it's okay to be your own person parenting and allow people to like speak on what they believe you should do. But at the end of the day, that's your kid. If you want to raise them a certain way, that's your kid. Do what you think is best. It's your household. And you kind of have to take responsibility for how your child is raised. And it doesn't matter what other people, especially the older generation, says about how your kid should be raised. Because I see a lot about that, especially when it comes to like gentle parenting.
Right. Yeah.
Versus like, do we spank our kids? Do we not? Like, how do you talk to your kid? Do you cuss your kid out? Like realistically, there's a lot of different ways that people go about parenting and discipline. And I think it depends on the kid too. Like for example, my brother, he has autism. His discipline looked different than me and my sister, because our levels of understanding were different. Right. So like knowing that, you just kind of have to gauge it off the kid and also off of what you think is best for them. And she also said, try to have an open relationship as much as you can. Like, I think that also changes with time. Like, realistically, there's some things I can tell my mom now that I would never tell her when I was like 15 or 16. Right. And it's like, You know, like it really does change with time. And I think also living with your parents versus when you move out, that changes too. So I think, you kind of have to gauge it. But for me, like I know with my kids in the future, I want them to always be able to tell me anything. Like even if I get mad, I'll always, but kind of like what Jaden said, like I'll always be in your circle and I'll always support you regardless what you say. So yeah, that's words of advice from Mama Thompson. Okay.
Yeah.
Eating. They know what they're talking about. Period.
What's after 7? Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Before we get into affirmation of the week, is there anything else you want to mention? You want to talk about being like a brand new mom and a young mom, like anything? Like we want the girlies to really be consuming all of this for future kids or already kids that they have.
Yeah, I mean, I think we touched on all of the major topics. So I think we did a great job of explaining most of it. But like you mentioned, it's different for every parent. Your journey's going to be different. So don't compare it to somebody else's. Just do the best that you know that you can do raising your child because they're going to see that, especially when they're older. They're going to realize, like, yeah, my mom did everything that she could to raise me in a correct manner, So
Yeah.
you're doing great, mommies.
Yeah. Yeah. And future mommies. As I saw, I asked, I had a sticker on the Type A Black Girl story and I was like, what era are we in? And one of the girls were like, new mommy era. And I was like, do we have Type A Black Girl babies?
Wait a
Like,
minute now.
what?
I'm telling you, these past 2 years have been like the year of the babes. When I say I've seen so many women pregnant, I'm like, wait a minute now, what's going on? Something's in the air.
Listen, I'm telling you, we gotta start a hashtag TABV, Type A Black Babies. Tag your baby.
Cute.
We want to see your baby. Post your baby. Actually, we might actually do that. Mom's like,
That'd be
like
cute.
post your baby. Realistically,
Yeah.
post your baby. We want to
Yeah.
see your baby.
It's
Your
like a
baby's
slide
cute.
of babies.
Literally. We're like up and coming Type A Black girls. So
Yeah.
we're
No,
boys.
literally. Boy. I mean, Black days. You feel me?
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get into the affirmation of the week. And like I asked Jadin in the beginning, she's like, "Girl, I don't know. You just asked me to talk about questions." I was like, "I didn't ask you for affirmation of the week, but I was like, I'll listen to what you were talking about, and I'll kind of write down something that stuck with me." Something that stuck with me was the affirmation of the week is having a kid is an opportunity to be a kid again, and I feel like that's like that just has so many layers because like some of our childhoods, like the memories that we can remember, like they're not the best. Some at the end of the day, our parents tried their best, and now having children, like it's our time to show them what we couldn't have.
Right.
And show them the happiness that we may or may not have had growing up. Not saying our childhood was like precious vibe, like it never gave that, but like I'm just saying, like I really do love that affirmation, and I think it's one of my favorites. I think we're on episode 4 or 5. Not sure. It's one of my favorites of the season, and we're almost halfway done. So really, thank you for that. And I think that's Mama Robertson. That's how you say your last name?
Yes, yeah.
I said Robertson. Okay, Robertson. Yeah, I've been pronouncing Robertson for the past 5 years. So
okay, everybody does. I'm like, at this point, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, no, we're gonna say it right. We're gonna say it right. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the calls from the request line. We have a lot, and we're really glad to have Jadin on so she can give her input because y'all definitely sent in some things. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the first one. Somebody said thoughts on the Barbie movie. It was real white in my opinion. Issa could only do so much. What do y'all think? If y'all saw the Barbie movie,
I did.
You enjoyed it?
I mean, as far as it being white, I kind of knew going into it was Barbie. Yeah. I didn't really, like if it was Bratz or if it was like, something different, I would have expected a little more diversity. But realistically, I kind of went into it knowing it was going to be an all white kind of vibe.
Yeah, I figured that as well.
Did you cry, Jadin?
I didn't. I mean, I can see the deeper level meaning that people, got from it. But personally, it wasn't my favorite. I think I went into it just not really thinking what it was about. I didn't think it was going to be like that intense, So I'm like, oh, it's Barbie movie. She must be turning up, And, well, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but like.
Spoiler alert.
Hey, spoiler alert. Fast forward.
Like it was like about Ken too. And I'm like, I don't care about it. But it just wasn't what I expected it to be. I actually don't know what I was expecting it to be. I didn't expect it to be that intense. And low-key, it was just kind of like really long-winded. Like, I don't know if it was just me. When Ken was singing for 30 hours, I was like, what is this? Him on the beach, I was like, what is going on? Like, I went with my siblings and I went with my daughter's dad too. And we were just sitting there like, dang, like, I'm kind of ready to go, y'all. Like So I
Yeah,
really didn't like it. I didn't cry. It was a beautiful message, but it was just a little too intense for me than I thought it was going to be actually.
yeah, girl. I thought I had the only unpopular opinion. Like everybody's like, "How do you like the movie?" I'm like, you know, I think you should watch it. Like,
Yeah.
and then you make your opinion.
Yeah.
I went in thinking, and here's the thing: I do this with a lot of things. I guess how the movie's gonna be, and if it's not how I think it's gonna be, I get my expectations are like,
Yeah.
well, what the heck?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's about to be based off of like it's gonna give the vibe of the Nicki Minaj Ice Spice song. I thought it was gonna give
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. I'm thinking it's gonna be Ken and Barbie and her girls in the back, like just having fun,
That
partying,
was
like da, da, da.
fun. Yeah.
I just want to have fun. Like let's have fun for something for the
Yeah.
girls. I think it was gonna be something for the girls. I really didn't want to see Ken like that. I didn't
It
really.
didn't.
I didn't want him to go into a library and find some books. Like I really didn't care for that.
The
Yeah.
And I
horses.
moms, he's talking about some patriarchy. Like
Yeah.
I'm like,
Like, this is too much. Like,
what? But the white girls did eat it up. Like all of like I don't know if you know the Billie Eilish song, and the girls on TikTok be doing all those words. It's only white girls. On that sound, it's just like, where did it? It's like, girl, ew. It's not that deep. Like it's not that deep. Mom, how did you feel about it?
I don't know. Okay, so I watched it a little bit later, so I had already seen like not spoilers, but people were just like, "Oh, this wasn't what I thought." So I knew it wasn't gonna be like flowers and roses and peaches. But I also felt like I don't know. I feel like the perspective was written more for like white. I don't want to say white feminism. I want to say that, but like white women and how they experience things. Because realistically, if this was an all black Barbie movie and instead of Ken we had a black man, I think that the perspective of how black women experience life and patriarchy and sexism and like all these things that they covered would be a whole lot different than how they
Yeah.
like how they shown it. But I also feel like some of it was kind of necessary. I feel like the way they went about it, honestly, they knew what they were doing because realistically, they know every single person is in the planet wants to go see Barbie.
right.
Margot Robbie is like the star. She's the perfect Barbie. Everybody, I was so excited to see this movie. And I think they honestly were really smart about it because they knew that the messages, even if people didn't want to hear it, the messages they said in that movie, realistically, people needed to hear.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
patriarchy, like how the Kens acted when they came back and learned about patriarchy, and now all of a sudden all the Barbies are in cheerleader outfits. Like it was very accurate. And even when like Barbie went into the real world and they were like, oh, like the way that she immediately was like sexualized. She
Yeah.
never experienced that in the real world. Like
Or that
I mean,
Barbie
in
company
Barbie
was
Land.
really ran by a whole bunch of men. It's just like it was shocking. It did have some good messages in it, 100%.
Yeah, I think if you go into it knowing that that's gonna be like that, it might be a little bit better. Versus like the way they marketed it was a little ambiguous, but I think that was on purpose. Because
Right.
if people knew that it was gonna be like a pro feminist movie going into it, not many people would go see
Yeah.
it. Like they had to market it like Barbie World, like they had to do
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
But I also feel like some of the messages in there, like when I really thought about it, made sense. Like even in the beginning when like they're giving out the Nobel Peace Prizes, and the Barbies are like, I deserve this. I worked hard for this. And they sit down. Versus like in the real world, a woman would have to give out this whole speech about why she's so grateful and like really be humble. Versus those Barbies were like, no, I worked hard. I deserve this. Like this is what I need anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
like, I mean, I think if kids went to go see it, it's giving more middle school to high school age
Yeah.
for it to click. I think if
Yeah.
you brought your 5-year-old girl and she had a Barbie outfit, she's not gonna know what's going
It's
on.
just colors.
Yeah.
It's really just it was very visually appealing. Let me
Oh,
just say
very.
that.
Yeah.
The outfits giving, like
Did you
the
guys dress
set.
up to go?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
More pink.
Right.
I was like, this is an opportunity for me to be Barbie too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like realistically, I do think they were smart about it. I think they went about it like this is the biggest possible movie of the year
Yeah.
with Barbie. And I honestly think they would have got some shit and some crap if they didn't give an important message and they just had this like pretty white woman just gallivanting around Barbie land. Like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they might have got a little bit of slack for that. Like you had the opportunity to show that there's more to than just Barbie than the looks.
Yeah.
And so like
Okay,
yeah.
honestly, when you put it like that, that actually does like make a lot more sense, you know, because like you said, if they were to market a certain way, no one's going to be really like that interested. But I think what they did there was kind of smart. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And the part with like Mattel being all ran by men, like
You're so
that hits home because a lot of beauty fashion companies are geared towards women. Like that's their main customer, and the whole C-suite, CEO, CFO, C whatever is all men. So like, I mean, I think they really like
Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
they hit a lot on the head. Even America Ferrera's speech, like her monologue, like
I was like, how long did it take you to memorize this? Like that's what I was thinking as I was watching it. I was like, who wrote this for you? Like I don't know. I think I was just thinking about it too much. Like I went into it thinking about let's have fun. And I think I was just like turned down for what? But like I actually was turned down because it was just like I was just irritated the whole movie because I was just like, I don't want to learn a lesson. I didn't come to the movies to learn a lesson, and if I went in knowing maybe I should have waited, maybe I should have pulled it in age, maybe I should have waited, and then put the pink wig and the pink outfit right out. I was just like, I don't want to go to the movies and be taught.
Right. No, head on the pink wig, like literally in your cute Barbie outfit, and you're just like, oh, this is what it was.
It's the vibe killer.
I pulled my wig off and I was like, I'm not wearing this.
No, literally, that's how I be feeling about. Look, this might be an unpopular opinion, but that's how I feel about like slavery or civil rights movies. I get so down about watching stuff like that because I'm like, bruh, like 12 Years a Slave, I still have not been able to watch.
Yeah, same. Oh my gosh, same. I just can't. I get too I'm just like, it just leaves me feeling so like
empathy. Like I don't know, like maybe that's why I was able to separate how I felt about it because I was like, I don't know, these white women going like playing in this movie. Like I didn't really take it too much to heart. But had it been like a Black Barbie movie, I probably would have been like, oh wow, like I'm really feeling this. You know, like it would have hit like a harder message for real.
Yeah. I hope us Black girls get something similar. Like the Black girls right now are getting Beyonce and all the white girls are getting Taylor Swift. Like I'm glad we have that like equalness that we're having, but can we get I don't think in this day and age we're ever going to get a Barbie adjacent for us Black girls. Like if there is a Bratz cast, it's going to be a light bright Sasha. Like it was never giving Coco Jones.
Yeah.
And heaven forbid we ever get a Tiana movie and they whitewash her too. Like realistically, because they've been talking about making a live action Princess and the Frog. And I think that would be like, that'd be my Barbie personally. Because I love Princess and the Frog. Yeah. But I can see them, they really have to do that right. And I wouldn't say even Little Mermaid, like they tried. Yeah. But I still think like we need like I don't know. I just want a Black princess that isn't an animal the entire movie. Like, or too much to ask.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Child, I don't know, but yeah, there's our thoughts on the Barbie movie. Next thing, we're not going to have that much of a talk on this, but side hustle NPC on TikTok, LOL. She getting her money.
So for context, like NPC, if you guys have seen on TikTok or like on Twitter, the girl that's like, yes, with the flat iron and the popcorn, and she's like, I guess NPC. I don't know what it stands for, but I think it's like
non-playable character.
Oh, okay. It's like a fetish for people like where you act like an anime character or like a.
Think of the people who are in the background on video games.
Yeah,
like
and
they don't have a purpose. Yeah,
they're just like floating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as she getting her money.
Period. Like, look.
Get how you live it. It's expensive out here. Right. Like if she can make popcorn out of a flat iron and make millions, hey. I wish I would have did it sooner.
Not you. You're doing your thing. You're living my dream. Like
literally
living my dream. And I saw on Twitter that she has a son and she be yelling at him in them videos. So I'm like, she's just trying to provide for her son. Like,
right. I'm like, she has a child, so she's doing what she has to do. Period. Like,
exactly. You said she was 19. I don't think she's 19.
No, I don't know. There's a lot of things going around. It's just like if you put her name or NPC in your article, like you're going to get guaranteed clicks.
Yeah.
I don't click on that. I don't really personally like that on my feed. I like to see funny Black Twitter things. I don't really care about her. Like Alabama.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I get so sucked into it. I'm like I'm just sitting there like watching like, wow, she's really making like some money off of this. Like me going on the next. Yes.
Yes. She's like,
oh,
what's her name? I think it's like Pinky.
Pinky doll.
Pinky doll. If y'all interested,
to like recreate it, it's hilarious. Like, do you know who Kaisina is? Kaisina, is that you say?
Yeah, the one in the room.
He did one. He was funny. I was like, oh Lord, like.
Yeah, everybody is definitely following her. She's definitely a trendsetter. Like, shout out to her. Like, she had a Fashion Nova deal. I'm like, period. Like, I'm not a fan of how she talks. So, like, anytime I see her, I'm like, heart. And I scroll because I don't want to hear it. Yeah. But I'm a supporter.
Yeah.
Regardless. Yes. So this next one says, What do you guys think about this? How society, aka corporate America, thinks it's okay for smaller women to wear tight clothes, but it's considered inappropriate for thicker women because it shows their curves?
I saw a post about that.
Yeah.
Me.
I
I'm not
see it
gonna
more
lie.
so at the beginning of school, like when all of like the thicker teachers post their first day of work outfit. I mean, first day of teaching outfits. They're like, dang, like I would love to be in that class. Like
Yeah.
she's just trying to teach, and she just got a
Right.
butt.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
She's a little cornbread. Like
It's
it's hard.
it's
Yeah.
over sexualization, like at the end of the day. And I feel like honestly, it didn't just start with dress codes at work. Like it started with dress codes at school.
Right.
Like how some girls could have got away with wearing a little crop top if they were smaller, but if a bigger girl wore a crop top now, so that she's in the dean's office because she broke dress
No,
code.
you're sick.
Right. So honestly, like I feel like it's definitely not right. And I feel like honestly, especially in corporate America, depending you have to know your company and
Yeah.
know what they would flag as, a red flag, or what they would be allowed to do, what they would allow you to do. But I do think, yeah, that definitely does happen. And I feel like it's definitely not right. And I don't know what we got to do to fix that. What do we as a society have to do to fix that? Because I feel like it starts with mostly men, because they're the ones that see it as a distraction.
Yeah.
Like my shoulders have never distracted another woman, as far as I know.
No. But now, like, I feel like it's kind of instilled in us, like work. I'm like, oh, I can only wear this because I don't want them to think of me this way. And also, I think it's like also like a black women thing.
Right.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're a woman, you're a black woman, so you have to hold yourself a certain way. Like,
Yep.
my family is very big on like we do things in excellence, so we don't do it at all. So it's
Yep.
like if I'm going to get ready, like for example, I'm going to Mexico for a work trip next week, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like even though in the Mexican culture, like they're very showy, like da 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 da. Like my coworker was telling me, like they came in with one shoulder shirt, and I was like, one shoulder shirt? What?
We're
That
getting
just
wild out here.
no, literally crazy. And like, because they were going to a tequila tasting after, because they love tequila up in Mexico, and I'm like, even if I have my shoulders, I'm like, I need to get a cardigan. It's like I can't have my shoulders out. So I feel like it's something that maybe was just instilled in us, like other than having my jorts be at my thumb in elementary, like that was the most dress code that I had. Like obviously no spaghetti straps and stuff like that, but like it's something that's like instilled in us in elementary.
Yeah.
Like that's just something that's regular, and maybe it needs to stop in elementary to for the next generation. But that's like we just hoping at that point. I don't think it's actually going to happen. There's no
I feel like
legislation that's going to happen.
it's a little bit too little too late, like realistically.
Yeah.
Like no slits in the skirts. Like today, like literally every day I go to work, I'm like, do I put a cardigan over this? Is this a little too like, like I'm showing a little bit more shoulder. Granted, it is 90 degrees with humidity, but like people don't think about it like that. They're just like, oh, she's inappropriate. They don't think about the fact of like the weather, or oh, she's, like they don't give you excuses. So yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
tough out
know.
here.
I don't know, mom. So I mean, I'm not. I mean, y'all know it's a running joke. Like I'm thick in comparison to freshman year. Like I done gained 20 pounds, but like it never gave inappropriate to wear a pencil skirt, because ain't nobody getting distracted by me in the past. You know,
No,
it never
like
gave.
yeah.
Like I'm a pencil in the grand scheme of things, but like it all comes from perspective and context. Because like Jadin, I mean both of y'all knew me when I was a freshman and in high school. Like I was little. Now I got a little bit of something, got a little bit of something, I changed jean size. You know what I mean? So but yeah, if y'all have any other questions about corporate, please reach out. I mean, I know y'all know that, but definitely please reach out in the group me, Instagram, literally whatever, because we about to hit our Danae's about to hit her 1 year. I just hit my 1 year, so like we got some skin in the game. Not much, but we got a little bit.
We got a little bit. We got something.
Got a little something. This next one goes back to our first episode. We have been really good about recording early. We've always wanted to do fillers and stuff, but like we're like, as long as we record a week ahead, like let's be realistic. Like there's only 7 days in a week, and one day is solidified and consumed by an entire episode afterwards, and we just be exhausted. After we record, we'd be like, anyways. First episode, I was talking about how I can't take 2 showers anymore because it takes too much of my time, too much of my energy. And at the end of the day, I'm a lazy girl through and through. So one of the girlies, that's kind of background for you, Jadin. One of the girlies said definitely 1 shower a day. I'm with Faith on this one because they were saying she takes 2 showers. But I think it's different because Denasia lives in New York and is a commuter.
Yeah.
I work from home.
Right. Period.
Outside. Like
Yeah.
that's and we were having like a debate on this, and I'm like, do we need to do a poll? Mind you, we see a lot of stuff on the pod that we need to do for the socials, and then like we're just like, whoo, the pod's done. We're getting back to our lives.
Mhm.
Literally.
And that's literally what happens. But I think it's just really a preference thing. Like,
Yeah.
and also like how you were raised. Like I was talking to my friend India about this, and she was like, I didn't know the whole getting on your bed with outside clothes until college. And I was like, really?
You
And
know,
she was
I'm
like,
not gonna lie. I didn't have that same perspective until I was in high school, because like I grew up mainly with boys in my house, so like
yeah,
it wasn't like a big deal and stuff like that. But then like I kind
yeah,
of learned that maybe it's a little more ladylike, and maybe I shouldn't be getting on the clothes with my outside. I mean, I shouldn't be getting on the bed with my outside clothes on. Like
yeah,
it just makes
yeah,
sense now, and now it's just like, ew, I don't want to. Like like.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Well, for me, I grew up with a very OCD mother. So like I don't even know. She told us when we were kids, she would lick our skin, and if we tasted salty, you take a bath.
I think I'm
So,
pretty you telling me that.
so I was like, like growing up with that, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, get in that shower.
Let me take a shower, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
for me, like it's just permanently ingrained in my head to take 2
Yeah.
showers a day. Like it don't
yeah.
matter what I did that day. I'm like, I licked that elbow. Yeah, get in the shower.
Yeah.
It
I mean,
tastes a
like
little
for
salty.
me, like it just I guess like you said, it depends on preference, and also depends on like what activities you do throughout the day. Because I work
Yeah.
from home too, and truthfully, like I can barely take one with Riley, like out here making a mess. I'm like, God, I gotta watch. I have to be quick about it and stuff like that. But like I know if I go take a dance class, I'm gonna take a second shower throughout the day.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it does depend on preference and what activities you do throughout the day.
What you did
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially for me, if I leave the house, especially, I'm like, yeah, I got to go inside because literally I'm in Gotham City and like I feel like every disease possible originated in
Right.
the city of New York. So I'm like, bruh, especially being on the subway, like,
Did you
my
guys
friend
have
saw. Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
I was gonna say, did you guys have like a debate on like preference on whether you do it at night or during the morning or like in the morning?
No, we were just talking
Oh,
about cadence. But
but that's a good one too. I feel like I'm an at night girl just because I like to get in the bed like feeling like clean and moisturized.
for me, it literally depends on the day. I was telling Denisha, I was like, if comfort or sleep are on the docket, I'm gonna choose those every time. Like,
Right.
I don't know if you saw that TikTok where it was like, if you're not getting in the shower after a night out at the club, what are you doing? And all these girls are stitching like, I'm eating pizza rolls.
Right. I'm
And
drunk. I'm in the bushes. What are you talking about?
yeah. I mean, I think I got a lot of my club era taken away from the pandemic, so I didn't really even have that. Like maybe Miami is like the closest thing to like a club era I could have had, honestly, and I'm cool with that. Because that was a freaking lot. But
Yeah.
yeah, whatever appeases faith in that moment is what I'm going to do. I do not have a preference because I have to be comfortable, and I choose me every time. That's
Yeah.
that's simply what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
I literally saw a man took a shit in the subway the other day on a seat. And they had to clear out the whole thing. So after that, I feel like that really just changed me because I said, I would have sat on that seat had I not known.
You New Yorkers are so tough because there's no way.
no way.
There's no way.
It's just
Like,
a man spilled a drink on me in the club. Like I was just like,
Yours.
he's like, my bad, shawty. I'm like, give me a napkin. Ain't no my bad. Like, I feel sticky now. Like it's just
good.
it's a different breed, man. Like I don't know.
Right.
I don't
I think it's the longest we've ever done culture request line, like in a
No,
while.
for real, but we do have a couple. We do have
We have a couple more. Yeah. Somebody said tips on what to do about nosy coworkers.
Don't tell him nothing.
Yeah.
Girl, as a victim of oversharing, time and time again, I told myself as soon as I started, I started my private girl journey as soon as I started a few weeks, not months before my corporate journey. And I'm so glad. Like to this day, I don't know how I haven't overshared, but like give them tidbits. Like, oh, what did you do over the weekend? I saw a movie. What movie did you see? Like give them little things like that. Like they don't need to know you did a 3-day bender.
Yeah.
They don't need to know that. Like put your Instagram on private. Like if you're talking about more so Instagram, like I just ran into my first coworker following me on social media, and I was like, what are you doing here? I mean, you're cool in a one-on-one, but what are you doing here?
Right.
And I was like,
Ariana.
literally. And I'm like, and she's like, yeah, I was telling my husband, mind you, husband. So she already a little up there. But I mean, she's in her 20s. And and she's like, yeah, like, I was telling my husband how excited I was for you to come to Mexico. And he was like, oh, do you follow her? And she was like, no. So she found me. And I'm like, I mean, it's not hard to find. It really is not. Like, it's everything is right there. The LinkedIn isn't even first.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, I gotta be a little bit I need to post a little bit more of my close friend. But like, end of the day, she's cool. Like, she's a person, and I'm currently trying to separate my coworkers as being people as well, because I just see them as coworkers. But yeah, girl, put your Instagram on private and stop sharing so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I find like I can go into really deep tangents to make it seem like I'm oversharing about very like surface level things. Like,
Yep.
like I'll like if my coworkers are talking about like, I don't know, just something very like minuscule and they're oversharing and I feel like I'm not comfortable talking about that, I'll bring up something related that I'm comfortable sharing and I just kind of dive deeper into that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you know, you don't have to overshare specifically with them. And if you feel like it's an invasive question, like you can be like, oh, I don't really feel like talking about that.
Yeah.
That's a very hard thing to say. Don't get me wrong. That's a very hard boundary to set. But if it is like an offensive or invasive question, like don't be afraid to say that either, because they might not even realize that it is that until you say it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah, I get that. Coworkers be the nosiest, especially if they don't really have much going on their end. It's like, I'm gonna live vicariously through you.
Right.
Yes, like,
Like, that's how I feel like about the women at my job. They're a little bit older. Like, I've had one actually email me, which, okay, I guess I'll say I wouldn't mind, because it was like the early stages of being like a new mom. Like, she was just always asking me questions about my daughter and like how I did things, and like I had that fear of being like, oh, like you're doing that wrong, and I just didn't want that 2 cents, and I wouldn't have to have a conversation with her, so I kind of shut it down by like just like being very short, you know, with her. But it's funny because actually one of my coworkers, like, they're actually one of my best friends now. Like, and I met her through work, and I was the one that followed her on Instagram. I was so scared. I was like, she's gonna think I'm so weird. Like, but we're the only 2 Black girls. We're the same age. I was like, you know, I really just she seems cool. Like, let me just, you know. And we ended up being best friends. Like, I forget we would work together, but yeah, obviously, if you don't feel comfortable, like, go ahead and just set that boundary.
yeah, totally. And I mean, honestly, one of my best friends also out here is a coworker. Now, granted, we work in totally different. It's like we work in 2 different companies because we're not even related on the same team at all. But you can find people your age that you can relate to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have time to wrap up these 2. We can have about 15 more minutes, and then why would you say that?
Okay.
So this one says, I've been working at my current job since February while I was in school. I graduated in May, and people at work keep asking me if I'm going full time. I work 32 hours. I kind of just tell them that I'm not sure, but in reality, I don't even want to work there anymore because of the people, environment, and the work overall. Just to give a little more detail, it takes me an hour to get there in the morning and an hour and a half to get home. Mind you, I do not get paid enough for the degree that I have. I live at home with no bills, so although making and saving money is good, I'm not going to be homeless if I don't go full time. In addition, the job market is trash right now, probably because of the recession, but I've definitely been applying like crazy. Please pray that I get something soon, LOL. Girl, we praying.
Yeah.
I don't think it is worth it to go full time. What do you guys think? I'm tired of them asking.
I low-key think I know who sent this. Because she put me in her close friends and literally did like a what do y'all think little poster on the thing, and I was like I told her, actually, I'm gonna pull up what I kind of put on. I would say, you know your worth, so start applying now. Like, even though you graduated in December is what she said, graduated in May. Maybe it's not the same girl, but very, very eerily similar situations. You graduate in May. It's time to start applying now. Like, get your foot in the door, applying like crazy. Yes, the job market is crazy and trash right now, but at the end of the day, prayer works. I'm talking about getting that devotional every day. Like, it is your job, and you know what you deserve at the end of the day, and you know what salary you deserve as well. So, mama, let's start applying. Let's get in the field. Get on your Zoom, okay? Because at the end of the day, faith without work is kind of pointless. So let's get it going. Obvious, and it's really, I love that you have like that. You can fall back on living with your parents, but I would love for you to save more and be happy, or even just feel a little bit more established and be okay with your team and your environment at a new job. and you're going to be miserable if you graduate in this role, because you're going to feel the pressure to just be full time because you don't got nothing else to do. So those are some tips that I have. What about you guys?
I would say really tap into your network.
Right.
If you have friends that you graduated with, or you have people that like that are working in a job that you would want to be in, I would say your first step is reaching out to them, asking like, for one, is their company hiring? Two, how do they like it? Is it someplace that you might want to be at? Like literally just start looking around, because I'm not gonna hold you, applying aimlessly does nothing for you.
Yeah.
Just going on like Indeed and just clicking apply or submitting your resume to all these places does nothing without like intention and doing research to figure out, okay, for one, what industry do I want to be in? What type of company culture do I want to work for? Narrow down that list and then start like looking for people that work at those companies, either that graduated from your school. That's honestly the route I went. Like if they were a UNLV grad, I'd be like, hi, as a UNLV, a student, da, 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 da. Like use that as your intro.
Yeah.
And really just try to narrow down your list, because I think half the time when we go job hunting, we start applying to everything, which you can do. But since you do live at home and you can fall back on not having bills to pay immediately, like you can be a little more strategic on how you apply and what you want, and then start narrowing it down. Because applying aimlessly, you're just gonna feel like you're wasting time, and you're not gonna have like, I don't know what the word is, like substance to your applications. Like find out what you really want to work in. That way, if you have to write that cover letter, for example, make sure you can actually say something to why you want to be in that role, and it makes your interviews better too. So I would say start there. And then also you said something in here, the job market right now is trash. Facts. There's a lot of hiring freezes. So I would say, even like if you plan to like maybe continue working in your job to the end of the year, and then maybe look for roles that are like have open applications starting the beginning of the year, that you can kind of start on a fresh slate, like get a timeline going too. That way you can have an exit plan for your current job. But I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't quit right now. I would keep this job while you got it. And then once you find something new, you got that under your belt. Okay, cool. Now I can refocus my attention to like, this new job. So
Yeah.
and also forget them people that are asking you all them questions. It's none of their business. Back to the nosy coworkers. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. Like if you're not going to work full time right now, it works for you doing 32 hours, then so be it.
Yeah.
So
100%. And then when it comes to finding a job, just assuming that the one that you're currently working at, try hitting up previous internships. Also, see if your college has any resource pages for alums, and see if they have any, because like I know my school has like, job opportunities on the Cronkite page, or even like internships that turn into full-time positions. Definitely check your school's, like your college's like resource page for alums. So
yeah, or post grad co-ops too.
Yeah.
I look up that too. Yeah, hope that helps, girl. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck,
Yeah.
because job hunting is not easy.
Ooh. And our final one, please, and you guys, if you guys are trying to figure out how to submit questions, in our link tree, anonymous post box. What's it called?
Free suggestion bots.
Always
We're
get it
gonna get
wrong.
it down one day. We're gonna get it down one day. Free suggestion bots. You can submit a question there. We have completely anonymous. You can submit. There's no word count, no word limit, nothing. You can submit whatever. We don't know who you are. And yeah, just submit any questions that you have throughout the season and even off season.
Yeah. Final question is, I like when you guys talk about pop culture. Noted. How about Bobby Altoff? Like she blew up out of nowhere interviewing big celebs. I don't know. All I know is one of the best giggles I've gotten was her interview was Funny Marco. All the other ones I was like, okay, like it's getting tired, but because it was so fresh and new, like I love awkward comedy and very dry comedy, and it was just like so insane. Like, why would you guys ask those questions? I was giggling. I got some really solid giggles. Like, it's in like the top 3 giggles that I've got all year.
Girl, the Drake one was funny as hell to me. Like I watched the full thing. Like I really did. I was like, wow, like this girl, yeah. And I didn't realize that was a character she does, but like she does that in every podcast. Girl,
Yeah.
more than anything, I'm confused on how she keeps getting these, like her first out the gate, Funny Marco, and then Drake. Like we've been podcasting for a year. You know how hard it would be for us to get Drake on this podcast to be a type A black boy? Drake? That's insane. Like, more power to her, because I don't know how she's doing it.
Yeah.
I actually,
Yeah,
I don't actually haven't watched any of her podcasts or videos, but when you said Drake, I'm assuming it's the girl that's in bed with him. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I need to watch that. I've been hearing a lot about it, so I definitely need to check that out.
Yeah.
kind of blew up out of nowhere. She does a lot of other podcasts where she's like, yeah, I'm just like really badly in debt. Like I'm not really making any money off of these podcasts. And I'm like, sorry, girl, but I'm
And
getting
that's what kind of made me believe that she isn't an industry plant. Because people were saying, "Oh, she's an industry plant. How does she get Drake as her second guest ever?" Like that's kind of insane. But I think the girl just got really lucky. Like in one of her interviews, she was saying like she offered someone $300 to put her in contact with Funny Marco.
Yep.
And that person like did, and then Drake saw the Funny Marco interview, and then that's how Drake messaged her and was like, "Hey, like I'd be on your pod." So I think it just worked out. And then of course Drake know everybody, so Drake posting it. So now she
Yeah.
has a little Yachty and Tyga and
Yeah.
crazy.
All the rappers.
All the rappers.
Crazy. I need to watch her.
I think she needs to have Tokyo Tony on there.
Bro, her Uganda, I love that sound.
Tokyo Tony said, "Baby, I own businesses." Like, who's this lady? Who is this lady? But yeah, more power to Bobby. I mean, if we could get Drake on here one day,
I'll take it every time.
forget that. Let's get Brent on. I'm offering 500 right now to whoever can get Brent 500.
Well, she's very serious too.
Dead ass. Like, we'll scrape together. We will get. I don't know, moms. It'll have to come out of the podcast fund. We gotta do something.
I will say I don't know if I have anybody on the level of how like you and Brent are. Like I'm really trying to think like who.
Because realistically, I'm not getting Beyonce on here. That's out. The lady don't even do interviews with BBC. Just kidding.
You got me there. You definitely did get me there with the Never Say Never Justin Bieber vibe, but like let's start
Jadin
with Brent.
Smith vibes. Like I don't know.
I don't know. But yeah, I really did enjoy this episode. Like I'm really glad we got through all the calls, but I'm really glad we like just got to bond over
fun.
Yeah, this was like a real combo, like for real. Like we really talk about some real shit.
No, for real. But before we end this pod, we're gonna get into why would you say that. If this is your first time listening, we get real delulu at towards the end of the episodes, and me and Danae just say some out of pocket stuff. That's just kind of our friendship and girls in general. So this segment's called Why Would You Say That? And me and Danae's friendship started as Twitter friends, like Twitter fingers vibes. So we might not text throughout the week, but we will send Twitter DMs. And so we're gonna start sharing a few of our favorite Twitter DMs that we've sent and that we've seen. Denasia has a solid amount of the Alabama brawl things bookmarked, so Denasia has a few of those. I'll go through our DMs and pick a few of my faves, and then Jadin, if you have any, please share. And that'll be the end of the episode. So, Moms, I'll have you go first.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm already giggling. Okay, so so we've had a lot of pop culture things happen in the midst of this podcast season alone. Like for one, Ariana Grande still an everybody man. She dating SpongeBob. When did that happen?
Mom, that picture scares me every time it comes to my timeline. They look like brother and sister.
Ariana, what are you doing here? So Michelle Obama, I'm saying Michelle like we like friends. Michelle Obama said, "Happy birthday to my favorite thoughtful guy. Love you always, Barack Obama." I guess it was his birthday, right? Somebody quoted and said, "Posting this where Ariana can see it is crazy."
Bro, do y'all know who the brat is? Like, if you're not black, you might not, but like, you know, like she's dating this girl. She got a really big booty and she make miracle drops. So yeah, that's her. If you don't know, I don't know. But somebody said, the brat is to makeup what Queen Latifah is to hair. And I was like, okay, like look, Queen Latifah's hair is always gonna be done.
Yeah,
the brat makeup is always gonna be good. And somebody said, my baby brat might be wearing a flaming hot short set, but that face gonna be beat. Why would you say a flaming
hot?
And you know she would want that. That's the sad part. Like she loves her little sets, but that makeup, yeah,
okay,
it's eat every freaking time. Okay, let me see.
Wait. I forgot about this one. This person said, "How do I change my Amber Alert settings to colored kids only?"
Oh. Bro, somebody said that they were in a job interview and I was like, "Do you have any social media?" And they were like, "No." And they were like, "Is this you?" And it was that tweet.
Everybody in the comments like, why is everybody laughing? I want to know. I would like to know.
I'm being dead serious. Like,
No, like actually, who?
Bruh, oh my god. Okay, the Lizzo thing also happened during this season.
Oh, frick, yeah.
Bruh, I think this might be our most out of pocket one yet. Like, first of all, someone said calling Lizzo our belly after this drama this week is insane.
Our belly. I feel like you sent me that, and I was like, why would you say that? Like, as soon everybody's body positive until the girlies do something wrong.
Right.
Thank you. I'm like, everybody hating on Lizzo, talk about, oh, I always didn't like her because she was bigger, and now I just got a reason. I said, y'all are wrong. Like, people really be like on her head. Okay, like I know she, the article did come out, she was doing some things, but don't just say that because she's a black woman that's bigger. Okay, let's not do that.
That part. Now, if she really is a villain, okay, let's villainize her character. But like,
Our belly
is creative. You got to give them that.
Creative, you're dumb.
Everybody's so creative.
I'll give them that. Somebody posted a Four Loko in like a rhino pill, and if you know, they do like their sex pills. Somebody said this combo took me to places I wouldn't go with a gun. Why are you?
And where is that?
I want to be there.
Oh my god!
Just take cocaine like that. Like that's kind of adjacent, like a Four Loko and a rhino pill.
Both of those things alone are enough.
No, I don't think I've ever had a Four Loko. I don't think I'm ever going to do it.
No. Loco?
Girl, let's just say I had one night out and we all took Four Locos. And that became the title of our group chat. It was such a crazy night. We just taught ourselves the Four Locos. I said, yeah, never again.
Oh, wow.
Everyone should experience a Four Loko night at least once in their life.
Oh, easily. That's the bucket list for sure. For sure.
Honestly, I have a what is it? The gay white guy that Sharpay's brother. That guy?
Ryan. Yeah,
thank you.
Name, but
yeah, he's coming out here and DJing a Disney night on Thursday.
Fun.
And that might be, granted, will I have a banging migraine? Because y'all know I don't drink.
Mom.
But, I mean, there's not another time that I'm going to have a Four Loko night. Because, like, I just want a reason to wear my Pretty Little Thing boots at a spot. Like, that's the only reason why I'm going. Really.
Girl, I would say drink some liquid IV beforehand. Because that Four Loko going to do you in. Because she had a Simply Lemonade. We was in Dreamville. And I've never seen her act like that. I said, Mom.
You're going to have to do some increments.
You're going to have to do some prep.
Maybe not a full Four Loko, because that's just insane. Like, I'm not going, I need to take the day off. I need to take the party off.
Yeah, really. It's giving go half.
Absolutely. Speaking of babies, somebody said, ever since I learned that the flat back head is from lack of tummy time / your mom's laying you on your back too much, I be seeing it immediately in black men. Like, OMG, your mom's so trash.
That's
actually so funny.
Crazy. I actually didn't know that was a thing.
Me either, but I was listening to Fee the Comedian's podcast, and she actually took a few of our episode topics and made them her own. And she was talking about how, like, one of her first boyfriends had a flat back, and like she was like, yeah, your mama didn't take care of you.
Right.
That's crazy.
And she was like, it was just flat in the back. And I was like, why would you say that?
I just imagine them putting on a hat and it just got a little gap at the back.
Yeah, and it's just literally just straight back. Like.
And you know what? And I'm not going to say there's a direct pipeline, but a lot of the men that I see have heads like that, they be having that, like, the fade. And I think this is a Texas thing, and they have the little puff in the back. You know what I'm talking about?
A little braid?
No, not the little braid, the puff. Like, literally.
No, but the braid, too. The braid, too.
Oh.
I feel like sometimes they be wearing them freeforms, too. The freeform lots, because it hide the flatness.
Oh, and you would never know. You would literally never know. And they'd be like,
bruh, in a world full of dreadheads, can we please bring back the waves?
Can we bring back waves?
Like, as a wave girl, I've been suffering, fighting tooth and nail.
Because the dreadheads need to get retwisted.
Yeah.
And you know what that means? Sex.
Yeah.
Like, all right, Hallie, let's I'm sick. I'm tired. Like, please.
All right, Hallie.
Like, Chloe, Please. I've had
Really
enough. That was
excited.
why would you say that in itself?
That era up because
We
Yeah.
getting to Lulu.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think the waves will make a return soon because cycles, fashion and hair cycles. But I need it to come a little bit quicker because I miss when the guys be doing the like drip checks, like they be
Yes.
taking off their do rag.
that was cute.
Yeah.
Bring back do rags, please. Not bonnets. Bring back do rags. This person said. Also, the Tory Lanez thing happened that we didn't get a chance to cover.
Shout out to whoever put him in there.
Hey, someone said they sentenced Tory to death. OMG, just spreading misinformation.
You're annoying for that. Like,
just spreading misinformation on Twitter, right? And someone quoted and said they got to put a booster seat on the electric chair.
She say that, bro. Digital footprint.
Digital footprint. Like,
Oh my
like the amount of tweets that came out of that was insane. Like,
and he had shirts ready. Talk about some free Tory.
annoying.
Nobody's wearing.
Yeah.
Some people. Hey, I wouldn't. There are some people that are rocking that right now. They already got their order placed.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna do one last one. Frank. Somebody said talking to a bald head N-word is too grown for me. And
I agree.
Like, that's giving uncle a little bit. Like, why are we both? Mind you, I will say I have been a victim. But my first boyfriend, the only reason why he was bald, okay?
Wait a minute. This is news to me. The man was bald?
Moms, yes. He didn't believe in haircuts. He said, why would I pay for haircuts if I could do it for myself? So he would just shave his head with a razor.
Anyways,
that was a collective moment of silence.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I like to save money too. So you do a lot of crazy things when you really like somebody.
Not for real.
No, that's fine.
It feels like your first boyfriend. It's like fine, whatever. Like I let it.
It's like, okay, babe, I'll oil the scout for you.
Might even tell your future for a second. Like do something.
Listen, the right dreadhead come along, I might start looking up YouTube tutorials on how to do a retwist.
Right.
You don't know.
Because nobody else is having his head in between their legs.
Right. Sorry.
Bruh, me and my friend have a running joke that we're going to start a retwist business. She talk about no payment terms listed on the website. I said, you're sick. You're sick.
Oh my gosh. Mom, what's your last one? Why would you say that? And we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But this is
my last one is someone said, you ever had a racist experience, but it was actually funny? And someone quoted and said, a white dude was cussing me out on the phone and I mispronounced because he mispronounced my name. I corrected him and he said, well, ooga booga, as I was saying.
Yeah, he might have ate you up with that one.
He might have ate you up.
A little freaking bit. Well, ooga booga is really insane because why is that the first black name you think of? Like,
wait, he said his real name is African and it's Ongudule.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That was a good one. I think I may have cackled just a little bit and be like, all right.
He might have ate that one little thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow,
well,
we've had a time, y'all. Thank you so much, Jadin. We've had a great laugh this entire time.
Y'all are hilarious. I was so happy and thrilled when y'all asked me to be on here. I was like, of course, like I gotta do it.
Absolutely.
Yes. Your daughter's our first type A black baby, so we're having a great time.
I was like, we'll start the trend. Trust me. I might throw a little Instagram story post, put the hashtag on her, like
happy TAB.
Okay. Period. Season 50, we're gonna be like, we're bringing back Riley to
yeah. I know. Oh my gosh. Look, save that in the idea, put it in the calendar. 6 years later.
Yep.
It's in the doc. It's in the drop.
Yeah. Like 10? Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's so fun. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and you guys will see her all up and down the story when this episode comes out. But Jadin, where can they find you and just plug yourself.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at baby_JZR. Like I said earlier in the episode, I do dance, so go ahead and show me some love. You know, you don't know
Good.
who might book me for something. Don't play.
That part.
But
That
no,
part.
yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on this episode.
Of course.